Hello, everyone, and welcome to the opening race of the round of 8 here in the Great Lakes Truck Series. Here we are today at Kansas Speedway, a very fast mile-and-a-half track in Kansas. Should be a lot of fun here for the Everyone Loves Walmart 201 here at Kansas Speedway, race number 13 of the Great Lakes Truck Series presented by Patti Engineering. I will be doing this broadcast solo this evening, so you'll be dealing with me all night as we're about to do 134 laps around this great speedway of Kansas. Should be a lot of fun, some good drivers. It's the first race of the round of 8. I mentioned we have 8 drivers remaining battling for that Season 5 title. You have, of course, William Barbagelata and Ashton Lawson, who comes into this race on top of the board in a tie for first in the standings. And then you have a 4-way tie, 2 points behind Lawson and Barbagelata with Elliott Henderson, Jake Miller, Shane Neiswanger, and Nathan Nicholson, and then ending out your top 8 in a tie for 7th, only 4 points behind points leader William Barbagelata, is Christopher Heller and Zachary Henry. And I find that a little interesting because those 2 drivers were at the top of the points all season long, switching out between first and second between those 2, the 25-11 drivers. And then we have a spoiler in the field here up at the very front. Daniel Nanny, of course, the driver of the number 30. Very, very good race car driver here in Great Lakes competition, but looking to play spoiler tonight in that number 30 machine. There you see his in-car camera. He's ready. He's wearing that Buzz Lightyear suit, so you know he's ready to infinity and beyond for Daniel Nanny as he tries to get to victory lane and play spoiler. Nanny on the pole, Zachary Henry in second, Hunter Madalinas in third, and Elliott Henderson in fourth. As you see, the starting grid will roll on your bottom screen. You get 2 pace laps, it looks like, here tonight. Pace car with the lights still on the pace car as you see the starting lineup go past on the bottom of your screen. I'm going to discuss a little bit about the playoffs. This round of 8, of course, we're starting here tonight at Kansas. Next week, we'll head to Dover Motor Speedway. Then we actually have a very rare bye week. Only one of the 2 bye weeks for the Season 5 Great Lakes Truck Series. And then we head to Martinsville to decide who will be racing in the Championship 4 on June 14th at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Not very many better places to finish off your season than Atlanta Motor Speedway. Is still yet to be decided if that will be the new Atlanta or the old Atlanta when we get to that point, but we'll have to figure that out here very soon. It looks like we're going to get the lights out on the pace car when he passes the start-finish line this time by. A couple of notes on our starters here today. Our farthest back starting playoff driver will be 20th place. Shane Neiswanger, as you see him right there on your screen, starting next to Jordan Gonzalez back in the 20th position. That's our farthest back starting playoff driver, Shane Neiswanger. And I'd like to give a quick shout out to Kevin Wattler, a phenomenal lap, putting himself in 6th. Wattler has struggled throughout the season in the number 56 machine, and he works hard anytime he's in the field. And here today, a very good qualifying run, starting in front of Nathan Nicholson and Brandon Barkuski, and right next to, that's right, number 4, Jake Miller. He's just been dominant these last few weeks, been really proving that he might get this Season 5 title after all, as he continues to run in that Reese's Kevin Harvick throwback. Jake the Snake Miller looking to steal another victory here today. Half a lap from Green Flag Racing here at Kansas Speedway. This is one of those tracks that's really about tires, just because it's not even necessarily one of those tracks that tears up tires, but it's about tires because this track usually produces very long green flag runs. We'll have to see, though, here in Great Lakes competition. Most of these races get a little crazy in the beginning, and then they seem to calm down in the middle portion of the race, and they get exciting again at the end. We'll have to see, as Daniel Nanny will come down to the green flag here in the Everyone Loves Walmart 201. A good start from the number 30 Phantom machine. Goes way underneath that line, almost into the grass. Everyone follows him on that line. And Madalinas looks like he might be able to steal the 2nd position from Zachary Henry going into turns 1 and 2, as now Henry falls into the clutches of the number 37 of Bobby Carter. Very hard racing off the corner for around 6th on back. Henderson is trying to get past Henry for that 3rd position. Continues to be neck and neck. Henry might get the run off the corner. Might even take 2nd back from Madalinas. Madalinas did not get off that corner well at all. Got a little loose off the corner. It's going to cost him a lot of time, and Henry might be able to clear him going into 1 and 2. He will. Caution's out on the speedway for the first time today. Looks like James Shiflett is involved, Gabriel Truesdale, possibly Ross Brockman involved in this as well. Brett Kingcott with some pretty severe damage on his number 6 machine. I'll have to see where this one started. Lap number 1 coming through the tri-oval. The first caution of the day is out. There you see Ross Brockman. It looks like he didn't really get any damage. Was able to get through that accident fairly clean in that number 52 machine. Yeah, we're going to try to get you a replay on this incident here. Caution number 1 on lap number 1. It looks like, I think we're going to get a look at it here in a moment, but it looked like maybe Marshall Harris might have been involved in this as well. Here we go. We're going to take a look at it right now. On the inside, you see Gonzalez, and Gonzalez comes right up into the 19 of Marshall Harris, makes contact with Kingcott. They go sliding across the track. And good job by Ross Brockman. I see him all the way back there in that white and powder blue number 52, just waiting for the accident to unfold. Able to get through that incident in the 52 very cleanly. Of course, Ross Brockman eliminated in the last round of the playoffs. Here we're going to take another look at it here. The number 60 underneath the number 16 of Rod Fausnow in this situation slides up a little bit. Maybe he didn't know that there were 3 wide. Had someone on his outside, got up into Marshall Harris. Great job by Michael Sensi, able to get through that incident as well in the all white number 92, just barely slipping through that incident right there. So good job from Michael Sensi, but I have to feel bad for someone like Brett Kingcott, who's just out there trying to get some points. We're actually going to take an onboard look at the number 6 of Brett Kingcott as he attempts to get through this accident and gets some pretty bad damage on the left and right side. And Truesdale comes up into him, he didn't even see it coming, gets thrown into the wall, and just very severe damage for that number 6 machine, especially at a track like Kansas. If we're at a track like maybe Martinsville or Bristol or something, I can see him maybe surviving with damage like that, but a track like Kansas, he's just going to kill his speed, and in the long run, it might even affect his handling and his tires as well. So you hate to see that early from the number 6. Very hard hit for Truesdale into the wall right there. Just took a look at his onboard camera right there. Very, very hard hit for the number 60 machine. What was going on? A couple of drivers made pit stops, mainly drivers that were involved in the incident. It looked like Aiden DuPont came down pit road, Jordan Gonzalez. Couple other drivers coming down pit road. Looks like Michael Sensi, Austin Moore. Looks like Lewis Woodall came down, Ross Brockman, and Rod Fausnow were your takers on pit road this last time by. A couple of those drivers involved in the incident, but a driver like Jordan Gonzalez was up around 5 or 6 more spots before that caution flag. Maybe just trying to get an upper hand on tires, or maybe fuel is on his mind. I would think fuel, because only 1 lap around Kansas. I'm not really going to do too much of anything to your tires. But it could be some fuel strategy already going into place here this early in the race at Kansas Speedway. Daniel Nanny, of course, still hangs on to the lead. Zachary Henry was able to move into that 2nd position right before the caution flag came out. Hunter Madalinas in 3rd, Elliot Henderson in 4th, and Jake Miller rounding out your current top 5 here on lap number 5 here on caution number 1 of the Great Lakes Truck Series at Kansas Speedway. Just to give you an update on where a couple of these playoff drivers are at the beginning portion of this race. Of course, you have Zachary Henry up here in the 2nd position in the number 12 for 2511. In the 4th position right now, you have Elliot Henderson in the number 37 machine looking to snag another championship. You got Jake Miller, who's probably the hottest driver in the league right now, in the 5th position in the number 4. You have Nathan Nicholson in the number 40 machine, running in the 6th spot at the moment. You got Christopher Heller, who's been up at the top of the point standings almost all season long, currently running in 9th. And in 10th spot, you have the season 4 champion of Ashton Lawson. He's been almost as hot as Jake Miller these last couple of weeks, looking really strong. And then in the 14th position, you have William Barbagelata, who is super strong at the end of the regular season, has had a couple of bad runs and bad luck last couple of weeks, but he was able to get into the round of 8. And then, of course, in the 17th position, you have Shane Neiswanger, who won earlier this season on Bristol Dirt, and he's looking to snag another win. Been very consistent all season long, consistently putting out top 10 runs in that number 49 machine. He's looking to get back up there, start in the back of the field, and looking to make his way up to the top 10 before this race is over. Looks like we're getting ready to go back green flag racing as lights are out on the pace car here. The iRacing pace car going to come down pit road this time by here after caution number 1. Of course, caution number 1, if you're just joining us, caution number 1 happening on lap number 1, coming through the tri-oval. Had a couple drivers near the back of the pack involved in the incident, including Marshall Harris and Gabriel Truesdale and Brett Kincott involved in that prior incident. We'll see if we can get some green flag racing in here as they're coming off turns 3 and 4. Looks like Daniel Nanny had decided on the high side, I'd like to note, which will put Elliot Henderson right behind him. Henry on his inside and Hunter Madalinas right behind Henry. As the iRacing pace car comes down pit road, the green flag is waving for the number 30 of Daniel Nanny. Good start from him, and Madalinas was asleep on that inside. He's going to lose a lot of spots to the number 9. He's falling back very quickly. This could be travesty going into turns 1 and 2. Some contact going into the corner, it looked like, between McClellan and somebody else. McClellan is very slow going through the corner. He's lost a lot of speed in that number 95. Looked like someone had maybe made contact with him going into the corner. So there were 3 wide going into turns 1 and 2, but we will continue on. We are still green. A battle for the lead. Zachary Henry is going to go for the lead on Daniel Nanny coming out of turns 3 and 4. Nanny beats him to the line by just a couple of inches, and that's huge. Henry's trying to get some points here, try to lead a lap, especially with the number 37 of Henderson right behind him. We'll continue the battle off the corner. That high side just gets such a good run off turns 2 and 4. The number 12 on the inside, and I'm hearing actually on the radio that Hunter Madalinas might have a mechanical failure. He's coming down pit road right now in the number 9 machine. You hate to see it, and that might have been the issue on the restart for Hunter Madalinas. There you see him. The closer coming down pit road right here. That last time by, Daniel Nanny was barely able to edge Zachary Henry across the line by 0.02 of a second. So Henry was not able to get that point that last time by. He continues to battle on the inside. Nanny pushing really hard in that Defiance number 30, is fighting hard on that outside. We know how much talent Daniel Nanny has, and he's just out there trophy hunting. That time by, it looked like Henry might have edged him to the line. No, that time by was once again only 0.04 of a second. These are photo finishes we're having right now between the 30 and the 12. Elliot Henderson very calm right now behind these two, just waiting it out. We know how strong Henderson tends to be on the long runs. There's the onboard camera for the number 37 of Bobby Carter, as he is attempting to maybe get past both of these drivers as they continue to battle. Nanny's going to lead this lap fairly easily. Henry had no speed off turns 3 and 4. You have to wonder at this point, how hard is the number 12 pushing those tires on the inside? Henderson's going to get the run off the corner this time in that 37 machine. He's going to get a good run on off the corner on the number 12. Henderson might be able to clear him on the front straightaway if Henry has a similar exit as he had last time. Henderson all the way up against the wall. He's really finding a lot of speed up there. He's going to be able to clear Henry, I'm thinking, going into turns 1 and 2, or at least be very close. He will clear the number 12. A lot of speed in that number 37 early. And for my history on watching Elliot Henderson, usually when Henderson has this much speed early, the rest of the field tends to be in a lot of trouble. He's all over Nanny's bumper now going into turns 3 and 4 as he continues to work that high side. He seems to be a real fan of that high side coming out of turns 3 and 4. He's going to get a huge run out of the corner, and he's probably going to be on his bumper going into turns 1 and 2. He's right there on the bumper of the number 30. What does the 37 do to get past Daniel Nanny? Does he maybe wait a few laps? Maybe wait for Daniel Nanny to burn off his tires a little more and then take the space. He continues to work that high side. He gets all the way up against the wall almost in the number 37 machine. He's probably going to get a huge run off the corner. Lost a lot of speed in the corner, though. We'll have to see how it works out for him on the front straightaway. He's going to be able to get under him. Nanny tries to take away his line on the high side, and Henderson switches it up, goes to the inside. Nanny's going to get the run off the corner. Now they're just going to line up for now. Henderson right behind Nanny in the number 37 machine. They approach the lap car of Gabriel Truesdale, who's going to get out of the way on the high side in the number 60. Slowly moving into the picture is that number 40 of Nathan Nicholson and that Heineken machine. He's been slowly approaching this group. Henderson really sent it into that corner, was almost able to clear the number 30. So close right there. Came mere inches away from clearing the number 30 out of turns 1 and 2 that time by. Henderson's going to reapproach the lead here. He's going to take it a little easier. Not try to waste those tires too early on in the run. Henry's back to the bumper of Henderson, and Nicholson is there at this point in that number 40 machine. Driver that's been on the move the last few laps, I would like to note, is Ashton Lawson. Lawson's moved himself up from 12th to 6th these last few laps. Doing very well. Season 4 champion of Ashton Lawson as Nicholson sends it through 3 and 4. And he's going to pull a slide job and put himself in the wall. Oh, that is huge. Oh, man, a very big hit to the wall for the number 40 machine. Like I said, that is huge at a track like Kansas. That's going to severely affect his speed. And he lost a lot of positions right there. Fell all the way from a potential 3rd place spot all the way back to 7th now, right behind Christopher Heller, right in front of William Barbagelata in the number 27. We'll have to see how that damage affects him. Nanny's put a little distance between himself and the number 37. Not too much, and it looks like the last couple laps, Henry really fell off. Henry might have even gotten a little loose that last lap. I'm not sure because he lost a couple of tenths that last lap, and Lawson's up to the 4th position now in the number 24, and Jake Miller is up to 3rd. There you see him right there. Jake Miller currently running in the 3rd position. Ashton Lawson not too far behind in the 4th position in the number 24. Lawson's been the driver on the move early. He's already went from 12th to 4th early on in this initial run of the race. There you see Nicholson. He has fallen back behind the number 27 of Barbagelata now, currently running in the 8th position in the number 40 machine. Just to give you an update on Neiswanger, it seems like the last few laps he's maybe been involved in some sort of issues. Currently still running around the 20th, currently running in the 20th position, Shane Neiswanger. There you see him, the number 49 machine. I heard him discussing on the radio with somebody. Did not sound too happy, not exactly sure what happened with that 49 machine. But it seemed like he might have lost some positions and lost some time, and he'll have to try to get those spots back. Looks like he might even have some right side damage. Take a closer look at that. Yeah, it looks like he has some right side damage on the number 49 machine, so he might have gotten into the wall or into somebody. Try to maybe get a replay on that incident with our playoff driver, the number 49 of Shane Neiswanger. A few laps ago was running up in front of Austin Moore up in the top 15 a few laps ago. Now he's back to 20th after making up some of those spots early after a pretty poor qualifying run from the number 49 machine. I think we have something here. It looks like we might have something here for the number 49 of Shane Neiswanger. Maybe we can see why he got slowed down a little bit. Here we go. Here's one of the ends. Oh, very close call. Look, he might have even hit Truesdale, the number 60. That's where he got that damage from. Truesdale came way off the wall and made contact with the number 49 of Shane Neiswanger. That seems to have affected his speed quite a bit and the handling on the number 49 machine as he still rides in the 20th position, trying to take away the 19th spot from the number 13 of Lewis Woodall. You hate to see that. You hate to see that with two playoff drivers just have incidents this early on in the race. Nathan Nicholson continues to fall back. He's back to the 10th position now in the number 40 machine. He seems to be really struggling with that right side damage. Barkuski and Brittle able to get past him fairly easily in the number 25 and the number 10. And now he's under pressure from the number 56 of Kevin Watler, who's not too far behind him. We'll have to see how these drivers rebound throughout the day. That's not good at a track like Kansas to get any sort of damage. Even a little scratch on your machine at a track like Kansas is going to affect you just so fast around this racetrack. Any bit of damage will affect you. You're not missing. By the way, we're not missing anything at the front of the field. I just took a look, and Daniel Nanny continues to pull away from Elliott Henderson. Kevin Watler trying to get into the top 10 here. Here you see Elliott Henderson. He's beginning to fall into the clutches of Jake Miller and Ashton Lawson, who consistently put down better laps than Henderson. But Daniel Nanny is consistently putting down the best laps on the racetrack. That last time by, the only driver that was actually on par with him was Brandon Barkuski in the number 25 machine back in 8th. Nanny just seems to have a lot of long-run speed right now in that Phantom machine for Defiance. There you see him in the number 30 machine. He's led every lap so far, Daniel Nanny. Good run from him. I know he's just out here trophy hunting, just trying to play spoiler, and he's doing a good job of it here at the beginning of the race. Here you got a little bit of a battle. William Barbagelata has approached Christopher Heller and Zachary Henry, two drivers for 2511 Racing. Zachary Henry was up there in the front trying to get into the lead, but like I was saying, when he was battling Nanny on that inside, he was on the inside of Daniel Nanny for around 4 or 5 laps, just fighting very hard, trying to lead a lap. And I was wondering at that moment what he was doing to those tires, and now we all kind of see what he's maybe done to those tires. He's kind of worn them out a little bit. He's fallen into the clutches of Christopher Heller, and he's almost 3 seconds back of Daniel Nanny at this point. Barbagelata seems like he has more speed than both of them right now, but the high side, I forgot to mention this in pre-race, but a track like Kansas, Chicagoland, tracks like that, those really fast mile-and-a-halfs, oh, what a move possibly from Barbagelata. He thought about really squeezing in front of, on the high side of Heller there. But as I was saying, tracks like Chicagoland and Kansas, those really fast mile-and-a-halfs, they tend, on the longer runs, the high side really tends to come in. Right around 15 to 20 laps into the run, that very top side just seems to have the most grip and speed at this point in the run. We saw a driver like Henderson trying to use that high side up very early in the run, around 10 laps in. That's about the earliest point you can really go up there. You'll see most drivers go up there around 20, maybe even 25 laps into a tire run. And that's what we're seeing now, as Heller is going to maybe try to get past his teammate Henry, because I think both of these drivers of Christopher Heller and William Barbagelata are considerably faster than Henry right now. They cannot find a way past him right now, especially Barbagelata. Barbagelata drove up on these two very quick, and he's just stalled out ever since he got into the bumper of Christopher Heller in the number 11. Just over 100 laps remaining here. You have the battle for 5th here between Henry, Heller, and Barbagelata. Barkuski is approaching this battle as well now in the number 25 machine. He's around a half second back of this group. There you see him at the very edge of your screen in that white machine behind Barbagelata. He seems to have a lot of speed on this long run. Gonna check the speeds at the line. But throughout the last couple of laps, the fastest drivers I've seen have been Nanny and Barkuski, and the occasional Barbagelata, at least up until he got up to Christopher Heller. Going to check the speeds at the line once again. And that time by, the quickest driver in the top 10 was actually Hunter Brittle right behind him. But the second fastest driver was Brandon Barkuski. But the whole top 10 is running within a 10th right now, actually. Very close lap times at the moment between a lot of these drivers. You see Tyler McClellan behind him in the number 95 machine. He had an incident on lap number 1. He's actually a couple laps down, so that is not for position in that number 95 machine. And there goes Barbagelata to the high side. Christopher Heller in the number 11. He's looking to finally get past him. He might be able to clear him out of turns 1 and 2. He will. Heller's going to have to drop in right in front of Barkuski. He's going to have to do it fast. He will. Barkuski will get the run off the corner, though, and try to approach him to the inside. Just not quite strong enough right there. And Brittle's right behind him. Brittle inches away from the wall. Very close racing back here. Very good racing. Looks like Truesdale maybe have blown it up. That's the smoke you just saw on the screen. Gabriel Truesdale in the number 60 blew up his engine after that hard damage and just pulled down pit road. So the day is most likely done for Gabriel Truesdale, driver the number 60. He'll be the 3rd retiree of the day after Marshall Harris and Gavin Fitzgerald. Barkuski continuing to put that pressure on Heller. Here you see Austin Moore in the 91, and Nicholson continues to fall back. seemed really slow off that corner that last time by. Maybe it got into the wall or something, that number 40 machine, but he's just really struggling ever since he got into the wall earlier after pulling that slide job for second place. He's just been falling like a rock. You hate to see it in the number 40 machine, but that's what even the littlest bit of damage can do to you at a track like Kansas. Even if it might not affect your straightaway or straightaway speed or anything, it could completely destroy the handling on your machine. It could be a little too loose, a little too tight, and if it feels just right, from what I've noticed, if you have that damage, it tends to even wear out your tires a little quicker. So any sort of damage could affect you at a track like Kansas or Chicagoland, where it's just so fast. It's just a fast mile and a half. So we have another taker on pit road. I think that might be Brett Kingcott, it looks like. That's Eric Kep, actually, the number 63 machine, actually. Eric Kep getting eliminated in the last round. Mr. Pink has some pretty bad damage, it looks like, on the right side of that 63 machine as he comes down pit road a little early, I'm thinking here. Possibly an unscheduled pit stop. Barbagelata now gets past the number 12 of Henry. William Barbagelata been on the move the last couple of laps. Maybe it was an unscheduled pit stop. Maybe these drivers are starting that first round right now, maybe making some early stops. I just saw Matt Daniels in the number 5 come down pit road, and it sounds like Shane Neiswanger might be coming down pit road this time by in the number 49. So pit stops are happening with the first round of pit stops, close to lap number 40. Let's see, when all these drivers come in, who wants to stay out the latest? And do we see anything happen that we've seen happen previously this season with a driver like Ross Brockman? Well, Henderson has gotten back to Nanny. Nanny must have fallen off these last few laps because he was over a second in front of Elliott Henderson just a few laps ago. Nanny is falling into the clutches of the 37 of Henderson. There he goes down pit road. Daniel Nanny going to come down pit road. He's going to bring Ashton Lawson, William Barbagelata, Zachary Henry, and Hunter Brittle with him. First pit stop for the race leaders today. Have to make sure it is a clean one. We've seen many penalties throughout the season been handed out for speeding. So we'll have to make sure that everybody gets on pit road and gets off safely and without a black flag. I will be keeping an eye on that. As you see Brandon Burkuski in the number 25, it looks like he's coming down pit road with the number 11 of Christopher Heller this time by. Elliott Henderson, Jake Miller, looks like they're also on pit road as well, coming right before these drivers. That will hand off the lead to Austin Moore in the number 91, who is now your race leader. And I'm looking at the exit of pit road. Ashton Lawson must have had a fantastic pit stop because he is right on the bumper of Daniel Nanny coming out of pit road. The number 30 and the number 24 exit pit road. We'll have to see how they compare to the rest of the field, those two. Right behind the race leader of Austin Moore. So if the caution would come out right now, Daniel Nanny would be your lucky dog. As he goes past Christopher Heller on the outside. There you see Henderson on his inside exiting pit road. That's Austin Moore passing him. Daniel Nanny not far behind. There he is with Ashton Lawson. Sounds like Sensi might be coming down pit road this time by. Austin Moore is coming down. Now we'll hand the lead off to, looks like to possibly be Jordan Gonzalez in the number 3 machine with Ross Brockman not too far behind. I'm watching to see if Brockman maybe pulls out another one of those strategies. Because at this point he's trophy hunting. He's no longer competing for a championship in that number 52 after a late race incident at Richmond Raceway last week. Ross Brockman was very close to making it to the playoffs. If he didn't get involved in a late race incident with Lewis Woodall, he most likely would have been in the round of 8. Been strong all season long, maybe looking for another victory here in the number 52. There you see Brandon Burkuski in the number 25 getting his lead, getting his lap back the old-fashioned way, as a lot of these drivers have. Most of these drivers are back onto the lead lap at this point. Jordan Gonzalez and Ross Brockman, Rod Fosnow are the three that have yet to pit. Oh, and right when I say that, all three of them are actually down pit road right now. Jordan Gonzalez, Rod Fosnow, and Brockman have all pulled down pit road, and that will finish up our pit window. Daniel Nanny in the race lead. Ashton Lawson right there behind him. Lawson had a phenomenal pit stop in that number 24 machine. Was able to make a lot of time coming onto the entrance of pit road. Made up a bunch of time on the number 30 machine and was one of the quickest drivers actually on pit lane. He has one of the fastest times out of the field on pit lane. Was almost a little over half a second on pit lane less than Daniel Nanny. That entrance to pit road was just phenomenal for Lawson. He's able to set himself up in this second position with great track position. But Henderson and Miller not too far behind these drivers, and they're on one lap fresher tires. And if there's a driver that I know can make that work, it is Elliot Henderson, the driver of the number 37 machine, who just tends to be really good on these long runs and this strategy in particular. And it seems like I might have a visitor up here in the booth around 40 laps in, an old friend of the broadcast, Gavin Fitzgerald. You got me?
Yes, sir. I got you loud and clear.
So Gavin, what are you thinking of this race so far?
I mean, so far, it's been a pretty good race. Long green flag run. Obviously, at long tracks like Kansas, we get those somewhat often. I know, well, last season, I think we raced at Kansas. It was a cutoff race, and it was an amazing race, so I'm not really surprised to see it go green here. Big track, lots of room to move around. I'm curious to see how the pit strategy will play out here.
I'm curious myself to see how this pit strategy works out, and if the drivers that stayed out longer will get the benefit of the doubt here. That's what it's looking like. Henderson is already to the bumper of Ashton Lawson. He's threatening to get past him. Jake Miller in that number 4, not too far behind him. They're looking fast right now, the number 37 and the number 4. Henderson, the 37, making a move to the inside. These varying strategies when it comes to the tires. It's been a big deal throughout most of the season, how drivers decide if they want an early pit or if they want a late pit. Henderson, usually one of those drivers that's on the late pit strategy as the battle continues here for second. We'll have to see how that works throughout. Currently on the initial strategy, Nanny came in one lap earlier than Henderson and Miller. Then I'm looking at it, the last drivers really to come down pit road ended up being Austin Moore, Michael Sensi. Those drivers back there, they're way behind these drivers here. So there's really only the two strategies right now. Nanny and Lawson coming in, and then Henderson and Miller coming in one lap later. And Henderson seems to be doing a lot with that right now, as now he's being pulled away from Lawson here, Gavin.
Sir, as that one lap tire, I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot on paper, but, on the long run here, or on the short run, it really matters. I guess we'll just have to see how Ashton handles it here on the long run. Maybe Ashton already knows he's at a bit of a disadvantage. Maybe start to conserve a little tire. Maybe that's what he's already doing. Maybe have a chance to, catch up to Elliott and Nanny here in a bit.
We'll have to see what happens with that. Elliott Henderson is beginning to pull away from Lawson, is running a little bit quicker lap time than Daniel Nanny right now, a little under half a second of the number 30 of Daniel Nanny, who's led the whole race other than that pit window right there. If you ignore the pit window laps, Daniel Nanny's led every single lap of this race so far in the number 30 machine for Defiance. Henderson is looking to change that. He was almost able to clear him the last time he was able to battle him. Just wasn't quite able to clear him. It looked like off turns 3 and 4, tried to pull a slide job and was legit inches away from clearing the number 30, and then changed his mind last second. So we'll have to see if he's able to challenge him again. Maybe Jake Miller can get up here. Miller seems to have a lot of speed as he's now to the bumper of Ashton Lawson and the number 4.
Yeah, no, I mean, looking at the lap times here, Ashton's doing 32.1s. Jake's only doing 32.12s. Ashton's doing 32.18. So, looking at it on paper here, it's going to take Jake a little bit at this rate to maybe, get to Ashton and make a move on him. As we see him looking down low here, just testing the waters, making, maybe seeing how he can make that pass on Ashton, see where he's faster than him. as Elliot Henderson continues to chase down Daniel Nanny.
Henderson, the number 37, continues to make up time on Nanny. Not making up a lot of time, making a couple hundredths up here and there, but you just see him get considerably closer every few laps to the number 30 machine. A couple laps ago, he was a half second back. Now he's almost 2/10 back of the number 30 machine. But catching and passing are two completely different things, as we saw last time the number 37 approached the number 30. He was able to catch up to him, but just was unable to pass him. The 30 eventually ended up pulling away from the number 37 of Henderson because of him possibly using up those tires trying to complete the pass.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to use up really the only way to pass here is, going for that, like on old tires, is really going for that slide job. And if you do that so many times, well, then you're just going to burn your tires off and that guy on the outside is going to pull away. All you can hope for is that guy in front of you to, make a mistake, or maybe you get a better exit and get him on the straightaway. But other than that, passing in the corners isn't really optional, or isn't really an option. As I say that, Elliot's going to go down low here for him on the pass. Can he pull off the slider? He's not going to be able to. They're door to door coming off a 1 and 2. Nanny's going to get the best of him here, as Ashton Lawson and Jake Miller are loving seeing that. Both of them are going to start to close in if that battle continues.
I think it will continue for a few laps here, but Henderson's going to reapproach it looks like here. But I think you were saying something about exit speed, and I think that is the best way to probably get past a driver here at Kansas. Just really focus on the exit of either 2 or 4. Try to get that straightaway speed. That way you're already on the inside of the driver in front. Caution is out on the speedway. Caution number 2. Oh man, you hate to see it. It looks like Hunter Brittle is in the grass actually in the number 10 machine. Not sure what happened to him. Hunter Brittle, the driver, the number 10, possibly with some contact from Matt Daniels, it looked like, in the number 5. I have to take another look at that incident momentarily. Hate to see it from Brittle, who's having a good run, was running in the top 10.
Yeah, I was just looking at it. I don't know if we have it put up on the broadcast yet, but it looks like Tyler McClellan hit the wall. Hunter Brittle checked up for him, and then Matt Daniels just drove into him from behind. That's what brought out the yellow.
Here we are going to take a look at the incident. Yeah, it looks like McClellan got into the wall hard, and Brittle dived to the inside to avoid McClellan. Daniels just either didn't see him necessarily coming or just didn't expect the number 10 to drop down like that, and just got him in the bumper. I'm surprised there's not more damage actually to the number 5 of Daniels after that very hard hit right there. We're going to take another look at the onboard look of the Walmart machine here in the Everyone Loves Walmart 201. Matt Daniels going through turns 3 and 4. Here you see him. He sees the slowdown right there, goes to the inside, and just, I just don't think he was necessarily ready for Brittle to jump down like that. But in a situation like that, I feel like you got to be a little more prepared. But stuff happens at a track like Kansas, a very heavy speed, high speed racetrack like this. I had to take another look at it from Hunter Brittle's perspective. Yeah, McClellan just gets the wall in front of him. Brittle with nowhere to go, dives to the inside. I don't think he expected Daniels to be running in that middle lane. Just got clobbered from behind, and a lot of damage to that number 10 machine.
Yeah, I mean, that's unfortunate for Hunter, having a good run, and just unfortunate there. I mean, there's not really much you can do in that situation. I mean, yeah, that's really a tough break for that 10 car.
It's a close race off pit road between Lawson and Nanny. Like Nanny was able to beat Lawson off pit road, but Elliot Henderson was the first off pit road. Mr. Bobby Carter with a phenomenal pit stop. Great job from that number 37 crew, the EHG crew down there. Able to get him out first. Nanny in second, Lawson in third. Barbagelado was able to grab a couple of spots on pit road as well, moving up to 4th. And the big loser on pit road looks like it might have been Jake Miller, who fell back to the 6th position. Here you see him, the number 4 machine of Jake Miller was running in the 4th position right before that caution flag came out. And it looks like he had lost 2 spots on pit lane to both Zachary Henry and William Barbagelado.
I mean, I just realized this is going to be such a good restart. I mean, you've got almost, I think, is that 7? I can't count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You've got 6 of the 8 playoff drivers under a blanket here. I mean, this is what it's all about. you know, good caution every once in a while, bunch up the field. I'm sure it's going to be an interesting restart here on these fresh tires.
Oh, I see it being very interesting here, Gavin, because we had that initial caution on lap number 1. We just had a very long green flag run. I was saying at the beginning of the broadcast, a track like Kansas usually produces very long green flag runs, very very minimal cautions, if any at all. So I'm thinking a lot of these drivers at the front might be thinking, hey, this could possibly be the last caution flag of the day. You want to maybe get that track position here at this point. So the driver I'm honestly going to be looking out for the most is definitely the number 24 of Ashton Lawson. Just has a lot of speed and has a lot more aggression than a lot of these other drivers, and he's a lot more willing to make that aggressive move to get himself into the lead. So I can definitely see that from the 24 on this restart, an aggressive move, maybe even 3 wide to get himself up into the race lead here.
Yeah, you know, absolutely. Ashton is, you know, one of the most aggressive guys in this league. I mean, you don't win championships by not being aggressive. So if there's someone that I'm interested to see how they handle this is, you know, Ashton Lawson. I'm really curious what Nanny does here. I mean, Nanny's surrounded by playoff drivers as we start to line up here, as Elliott will take the outside. You know, like we were talking about earlier, you got to get the track position now. Because we've noticed how hard it is to pass on the long runs here, you know, without pulling sliders and everything like that. So, you know, it'll be really interesting. I think everyone's going to be go get it here. You know, you can't count out Barb too in that outside lane. He's got the line advantage. I see him and Ashton working together here, maybe trying to get around these 2 trucks in front of them.
You're talking about Daniel Nanny, and from what I've seen from Daniel Nanny, he's the complete opposite of a pushover. I don't think he really cares that a lot of these playoff drivers are around him. If anything, that might even make him battle even harder and be even more aggressive, because he just has something to prove to maybe those playoff drivers. Like, hey, if I was in the playoffs right now, I'd probably be winning the championship, is maybe what's in the number 30's mind right now.
Oh, you know, absolutely, Nanny. I think we've got to, you know, I kind of feel bad for Elliott because, you know, Elliott's a great race car driver, but he's definitely not the most aggressive, and he's surrounded by 3 extremely aggressive drivers here, so it'll be interesting how Elliott handles it as we about to take the green flag here.
The iRacing pace car pulls down pit road once again. Henderson gets off to the restart and immediately drops down to the inside lane in the number 37 machine. In front, he drops down from the number 30 of Nanny. Nanny had some good speed going into 1 and 2, even peeked his nose to the inside, and he's all over the bumper of Elliott Henderson going through the corner. He's going to get a phenomenal run off of the corner here. He's going to dive to the inside of Henderson, and it looks like Lawson's going to follow him. Does he maybe make it 3 wide? No, he's going to stick in behind him for now. And Daniel Nanny's going to get right back into the race lead. A phenomenal restart.
Lawson's going to get loose here. Does he save it? Yes, he does. Wow.
They all stack up behind him. Phenomenal race, and they're going to be 4 wide for a moment there, heading into turns 1 and 2. They're now 3 wide heading into turns 1 and 2. Barkowski in the middle, almost making contact with William Barbagelata in the number 27. The 27 stuck on the high side now. Heller's loose off the corner. 3 wide. The number 12 and the number 11 are down there. Those 2 are competing for a championship and are teammates. The battle is on for the lead up front, as well as Nanny continues the battle. The number 37 of Henderson.
Where did Barkowski come from? I mean, honestly, you know, I don't mean this to be insulting. I didn't even know Brandon was racing, and here he comes popping his head into 4th place.
Brandon Barkowski has been pretty quiet throughout the night so far in that number 25 machine. Seems to have a lot of speed on the longer runs, Brandon Barkowski. As you see this battle continue for 1st place, Henderson almost giving a bump draft to Daniel Nanny going down the back straightaway. I know Elliott Henderson wants to get up there in the race lead, get himself some points, and try to get himself another championship this season in that number 37 machine.
You know, Elliott really wants those bonus points for leading the most laps. So, we'll have to see here.
Here they come up turns 1 and 2. Henderson had a nose at the quarter panel, the number 30 of Nanny. A phenomenal move from Henderson. He was able to force Nanny to that inside lane coming out of turns 1 and 2. Henderson was able to get the run off. Nanny's going to be able to clear him out of turns 3 and 4, but Henderson's going to get the run off the corner. What does he do with it? And look who's there now. Jake Miller in the number 4 machine. Is he able to slither past these 2? Jake the Snake.
Look at Zach Henry back there, made a big gain there on Brandon Barkowski, it looked like, out of the exit of the corner there.
Number 12, Zachary Henry, trying to get back up there, was competing for the race lead earlier in the number 12. There you see Brandon Burkuski holding off the number 12 at the moment, and he's trying to maybe get past Jake Miller for that third position as he pokes his nose to the inside of Miller, but was not quite close enough to make a move going into turns 1 and 2. And now he's opened up the door for Zachary Henry to the inside. Battles on for the race lead once again here as well. Henderson gets a phenomenal run off the corner. Nanny was very slow coming off turns 1 and 2. Henderson's going to try to maybe complete this pass. Nanny gives him no room to the inside. Very hard racing off the corner. Nanny's going to get the run off the corner, and it looks like he will lead the lap in the number 30 machine.
A phenomenal battle between the two up front. This is just phenomenal battles everywhere. I mean, I look behind these guys and I see cars, you know, dive bombing everywhere. This restart has really stacked the field up and produced some great racing here.
Like I was saying right before this restart, a lot of these drivers are probably trying to get that track position for potentially the final run of the race. A very clean racetrack like Kansas, and very hard battling off the corner. Look like there might have even been contact between the number 37 and the 30 off the corner right there. They were just going back and forth. You see the field pass by, a couple of battles going on throughout the field. It looks like Nanny will prevail for now on the high side as that high side is beginning to come in. Jake Miller has been catching up to both of these drivers the last few laps in the number 4 machine. He's really making that high side work. Henderson sees his teammate Jake Miller up there, and he decides he wants to go up there too. Henderson and Miller trying to make that high side work out of three and 4. What does Henderson do in 1 and 2? Does he stay on Nanny's bumper? He will. They will all be on the high side going to the corner. Here's the onboard look of Jake Miller.
I think Jake's really just biding his time here, you know. I think he's just kind of hanging out, waiting for, you know, maybe Elliott and Nanny to even maybe get a little physical, maybe some contact, maybe mistakes. Jake's just going to hang out, really. I think, you know, coming into this race, all the playoffs drivers were just like, you know what, I gotta, you know, have a good run, maybe not go out and win the race. You know, obviously going out and winning the race is a good idea, but going out and wrecking yourself trying to win the race is not a good idea, and that's what Jake understands. He's just going to hang out. You know, if Elliott wins and he finishes second, well, he's completely fine with that. Even if Elliott wins and he finishes second, he's also fine with that. But he's in, I think, the ideal situation right now. You know, he's saving his tires behind Elliott and Nanny. Elliott's not in the lead, so Elliott won't win the race to lock himself in. And Jake's saving tire. I think overall it's just a win-win for Jake Miller here.
Jake Miller running pretty smart here at the beginning portion of this run, just kind of buying his time possibly. And then number 4, Reese's machine, as the number 37 of Henderson continues to put the pressure on Daniel Nanny. You saw 1 lap ago in turns 1 and 2, he was almost able to complete the slide job on the number 30 of Daniel Nanny, which just was not quite clear of Daniel Nanny in the Defiance machine. He's just putting that pressure on the number 30 at the moment. And Nanny's been doing a really good job of handling that pressure all night long, just been able to still run at his pace, which is very difficult to do. He's running at his pace. He showed it on that first run because he had battles from the 37 of Henderson, battles from the number 12 of Zachary Henry up there trying to take the lead from him. He was able to still run his line and run his race, and had a really strong car on the long run. The only driver that maybe had a stronger car on that last run was Brandon Burkuski, possibly in that number 25.
Yeah, no, we've got a lot of fast long-run cars here. That's just the way it is at Kansas. You got to be fast on those long run, or you won't be fast at all. I'm just really happy that we have almost all the playoff drivers under a blanket here. I think it's going to make for an exciting end of the race. Once pit strategy kicks in, you know, I think a lot of people are going to go for an undercut here or there, maybe try and take the lead. I guarantee you that's what Ashton Lawson's going to do back there. He's probably going to try and look for the undercut on these guys, maybe take the lead on a pit strategy and try and hold on and hug that top line and hope no one can get by him.
You're talking about the playoff drivers, of course. 6 out of the top 8 spots at the moment are occupied by playoff drivers, that being Elliott Henderson, Jake Miller, Zach Henry, William Barbagelata, Ashton Lawson, and Christopher Heller in that order. two spoilers up there right now are Daniel Lanny in first and Brandon Burkuski in fourth. Brandon Burkuski did win a few weeks ago, so he's maybe looking for another victory on the season. Then to update you on Shane Neiswanger, he just seems to be really struggling with that damage back in 19th, and Nicholson has kind of found a home around 12th, but it seems like he's kind of struggling with that damage as well. There you see the Heineken machine of Nicholson as he struggles a little bit back in the 12th position.
Guys, you know, a lot of aerodynamics. Oh wait, Nicholson's making a move here. I think he just gained a position, put him up to 11th in front of Matt Durr, who just scraped the wall and had a bit of an incident. But besides that, you know, aerodynamic damage is huge on this track. This is definitely a draftier track than most. So if you get some right side damage and you're not up front already, your race is in serious jeopardy. And for playoff guys like that, you do not want that to happen in the first race of the season.
Of course, Nathan Nicholson, if you're just joining us, Nathan Nicholson earlier was, and there's Neiswanger in the wall again. The number 49 of Shane Neiswanger is not having a good time in Kansas right now. He's definitely not walking down the yellow brick road today. You hate to see it for Shane Neiswanger. Gets in the wall once again, a little more damage to the right side of that number 49. But as I was saying about Nicholson was making a move for second place and tried to pull a slide job and was able to complete the slide job, but put himself up into the wall out of turns 3 and 4, fell back to 10th and has not been able to get back inside the top 10 since. Currently running in 11th.
You know, Nathan likes to play the long run here. I mean, don't count him out of a top 5 finish yet. I mean, does he have race-winning speed? Well, I don't want to say no, but nothing has, you know, shown me that I could say yes either. So, you know, look for Nicholson to maybe pull off some nifty pit strategy here and maybe, you know, get that 10th place car of Austin Moore to put himself in a top 10 position.
Most times you would look at a top 10 and be like, hey, that's a phenomenal run. But you've been saying, Gavin, how well these playoff drivers are doing. A 10th place finish in a race like this is honestly going to hurt you with all those drivers in the playoffs in front of you currently running in the top 8.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we saw it last playoffs, the last round of the playoffs. I couldn't get that out properly. Like, even myself, like, you know, I think it was an 8th place finish at Watkins Glen, and I thought that was phenomenal. And then I looked and went, well, everyone else finished ahead of me, so really it was a great run, but it wasn't a good enough run, is the problem that a lot of these guys are going to face. Like, even guys like Ashton Lawson, sitting in 7th place, that's a pretty respectable position, but once you look in front of you and see, you know, 5 other blue banners, you get a little worried, and maybe you start to think, well, maybe that's not such a good run, and you just got to start to build towards it.
We'll have to see how these drivers' days develop here. A little past halfway here. Just under 60 laps to go here in the Everyone Loves Walmart 201 at Kansas Speedway here on the Flatout Racing Network. Great Lakes Truck Series presented by Patti Engineering. And, I'm waiting for possibly the last round of pit stops here pretty soon. It looked like they were able to go around almost 40 laps on that last tank of fuel. So let's see, currently they're just past 20 laps here. So by my calculations, they're going to have to probably pit 2 more times, Gavin. Just for my calculations, they're going to have to fill up the tank and then possibly top it off before the race is over and done with, for my calculations.
Do you hear that? Do you hear that, Kyle? It's the sound of Ross Brockman in the distance saving fuel. I mean, I honestly wouldn't be surprised to see Ross, as he always does, or even Ashton or someone, or even Nicholson or Shane, try and stretch that fuel out if they're only going to be short, you know, 5 laps. Well, you can save 5 laps if you start to save right now. It's just a matter if they figure that out yet or not.
Right when you said that, I went back to Ross Brockman just to see what he was up to. He actually came down pit road 3 laps ago in the number 52 machine. So his strategy is already in place, it seems like, Gavin.
Yep. I mean, that's how, you know, Ross is so unbelievably smart when it comes to his strategies. He's a good race car driver. He's really smart. Just, you never know. I could very easily see him squeaking a win by here, just like he did at Nashville. But I guess we'll have to see. You know, it's still a very long ways away. He's banking on a caution not happening, which is a very good call considering the track record of this race so far, which is only 2 cautions. And even then, it was stuck. Well, I don't know what happened on that first one, but that second one, arguably could not have been a caution, maybe if Brittle spun a little faster. So you never know. We'll just have to see here. It's definitely going to be harder though for Ross to save gas by himself compared to someone like Ashton Lawson, who's, he's got that draft. Well, he kinda has the draft of Barbagelata in front of him, but it's just that much easier if you have that draft. So I guess we'll just have to see how it plays out here. As Rod Fosno is also coming down pit road.
Yeah, it looked like Christopher Heller came down momentarily ago, and he really smoked up those tires. You all saw on the broadcast, the number 11 machine. We'll have to see if maybe he got any sort of penalty for that. We've seen that happen multiple times this season. Drivers smoking up their tires, coming down pit lane, and getting a black flag penalty for speeding down pit road. The number 11 of Heller has pulled out of pit road, so we'll have to see if maybe he gets a black flag tagged on for that number 11 machine. But just to go back to Brockman for a second, he's really smart in a race car. It looks like Jake Miller and Elliot Henderson actually came down pit road just now in the number 4 and 37 as they're pulling into their pit boxes. But Ross Brockman's just so smart. Like if any of you Coke drivers are looking for like the greatest crew chief possible, I bet Ross Brockman can do it. It's kind of like Larry Mack if you put him in a race car. Just really smart with strategy and smart with this race car in the number 52 machine. We'll have to see if that strategy ends up working out for him, Gavin.
Yeah, absolutely. Ross is so just smart when it comes to his strategy, how he races people. One of those guys that no one has a bad thing to say about him. Everyone loves Ross Brockman, and everyone loves it when Ross Brockman wins. As we have a big group of cars on pit road. Barbagelata, Lawson, Daniel Nanny. There's a lot of guys on pit road. Jordan Gonzalez on pit road as well. He's not on the lead lap, I don't think, but he still did pit. As I think... Oh no, Ross Brockman is not on the lead lap, so he will not inherit the lead.
Oh, I'm sorry, I did not press my button there, but it looked like Henry had almost spun it coming down pit road. I'll have to see if maybe he got underneath the speed limit. Very close for the number 12 of Zachary Henry coming down on the entry of pit road, trying to make up some time, getting next to Graham McCarthy.
Oh, Chris Heller's right on the back bumper of Jake Miller, sorry. I mean to cut you off, but I almost thought that Jake was about to wreck here as Chris Heller, pitting early, has now entered himself into the top 3, and that top 3 has put a pretty sizable gap here onto Daniel Nanny.
You see the replay of the number 12 of Zachary Henry almost losing it coming onto the entry of pit road, but just to go back to what you were saying, Gavin, yeah, very close call there for Miller and Heller. Heller was coming up really fast on the number 4 machine as Miller just got off pit road not too long ago. And yeah, Heller's on the older tires, around a lap or two older than the number 4 and the number 37. So I expect those two to maybe pull away from Heller in the number 11 machine as Heller trying to make up some time and some spots through pit stops.
Yeah, as another thing you have to remember is that Chris has those warmer tires, and I know it only really takes about a lap for those tires to heat up, but if you're on lap older tires that are warmer than brand new tires that are colder, for that extra lap, you're going to have that little bit of extra speed. But as you can see here, Chris, who pitted a decently sizable chunk before these guys, is already falling behind the leaders here.
Yeah, I'm looking back at it. Heller came in 2 laps before Henderson and Miller. But then you have Daniel Nanny, Ashton Lawson, and William Barbagelata, and that group of drivers back there, they came in 1 lap after Miller and Henderson. Nanny's been the class of the field all day long, so I'm curious to see if Nanny's able to get up there to Henderson and Jake Miller and compete once again for the win. As we are finishing up pit stops, it looks like here's Shane Nicewater coming down pit road in the number 49 with James Shiflett. And the number 28, not too far behind him. That only leaves 1 driver still on the racetrack, and that's Mr. Pink, Mr. Eric Kep, driver of the number 63 machine, out there leading some laps right now, around 20 seconds in front of Elliot Henderson. He's yet to make this pit stop, as now he comes down pit road, coming out of turns 3 and 4. There you see the 63 of Henderson, not of Henderson, of Kep. And that will finish up our green flag pit stops, and that will hand the lead off to Elliot Henderson. All these drivers are going to have to pit one more time here. Gavin, I'm curious, what do you pull in the strategy here? Do you maybe just go as long as you can and maybe just get a a gas and go, maybe just right side tires? Do you think that's any possibility that any of these drivers can get away with that?
I'm looking right now, and Eric has made it to lap 89 for him without pitting, so that only puts him about 4 or 5 laps short here. And if Eric's been saving, which I assume he has on him, based on him being able to stay out longer than everyone, he's got a shot here at saving enough fuel to make it to the end. Doesn't guarantee the win for him, but it does guarantee a better position than he was. I'm looking at Ross Brockman as well to see where he's shuffled out. I can't find him here. Yes, I can. He's in 12th position. I guess he will have to pit one more time, but he's banking on everyone else having to pit after him. So, I guess we'll have to wait and see here. I'm really interested how the strategy will play out for Ross and Eric. But, if I was some of these drivers, if I was one of the drivers, maybe sitting about, 7th or 8th, guys like Zach Henry, Brandon Barkuski, Kevin Watler, Nathan Nicholson, if I'm the guys looking farther in the back, well, I'm thinking, well, do I have much more to lose? Trying to stretch it to make it? I guess it's just going to be one of those things that we're going to have to wait and see, but there will be at least one person, I think, that will try and stretch it to the end here.
I can definitely see it, Gavin. I can see one of these drivers at least attempting to maybe make it to the finish. I think it is a little bit far, but who knows who may be willing to at least try to stretch it the distance. A driver like Eric Kemp, he might be able to make it to the finish from here. It's going to be very close for him. He's going to obviously have to save some fuel in that number 63 machine, but we'll have to see what happens with those drivers that pit at the end of this pit window. There you see Christopher Heller in the number 11 machine as he is falling back a little bit on those older tires, going to fall into the clutches of Ashton Lawson here in the next few laps, I'm thinking. Number 24 of Ashton Lawson on those fresher tires. Nanny continues to drive down Jake Miller and Henderson. He's only 3/10 at this point behind Jake Miller. He's right there within striking distance of those two. You see how we're in the 11 machine is Lawson and Barbage-Lotta are definitely getting bigger in his window right now. That last time by, Christopher Heller ran a 32.1. Ashton Lawson ran a 31.7, so around 4/10 quicker. That last time by was Ashton Lawson. At that rate, he should be at his bumper next time by, coming out of turns 3 and 4, with 3 drivers that are very hungry right behind him. William Barbage-Lotta and Zach Henry are fighting for a championship, and Brandon Barkuski out there trophy hunting in the number 25 machine. We know how fast he is on the longer runs, so we'll have to see what they're able to do here, approaching Christopher Heller very quick. You see Lawson on the inside of Barbage-Lotta trying to get past Heller here on the inside. He's going to make the move. Coming into turns 1 and 2, he has a lot faster of a race truck, so he should be able to make this pass fairly easily, maybe even clear him coming out of the corner. And he will in the number 24 machine. Ashton Lawson move him up to 4th. Is he able to get up there and compete with Nanny, Miller, and Henderson? How quickly is Nanny able to get past, if at all? Nanny is there. Nanny is on the bumper of Jake Miller at this point. There you see him. Daniel Nanny of Defiance in that Phantom machine, putting the pressure on the number 4 and the number 37 here.
Yeah, he saved his tires and he's caught up to him. But again, like we said earlier, it's really hard to pass here. I'm just really curious how Nanny's going to get it done. And remember, he can go for all the sliders he wants, but if he doesn't save his tires properly, well then it'll be all for naught. And all this ground he made up will be almost lost probably within a couple laps here.
Now let's keep in mind that these two in front of him are teammates. They might be racing for a championship, but at the end of the day, Jake Miller and Elliot Henderson are both members of E95 Esports, so we'll have to see if they maybe work together to keep Nanny behind them, to keep the battle between them. We'll have to see how that goes here. A little under 40 laps remaining here at Kansas Speedway. Jake Miller right behind Henderson. Nanny not too far behind. Nanny's gotten to him, but has kind of stalled out since he's gotten to him. Does that open up the door for a driver like Ashton Lawson to maybe catch up?
Maybe we'll just have to wait and see here. Like I said, you got to really wait for these long run strategies to play out here for these guys. But, I have my money on if I were to take a bet on what's going to happen here, I think that these front three are going to get pretty racy, and maybe we'll see some contact or something like that. But I think that the guys behind them are going to sweep in and maybe have a shot here at the end.
Definitely keep my eye out for Ashton Lawson. We saw how quickly he was able to move up from 12th up here into the top 5. He's kind of, ever since he got up into the top 5 around maybe 60 laps ago, he's just, farthest I think he's gotten up to is 3rd. Just been really tough for him to complete some of these passes. And now that he's on the freshest tires, if he's able to get up there, you know that he's going to be trying to compete for this victory. Just checking the lap times at the line that last time by, and very even between the front 4 right there. Henderson, Miller, and Nanny were all within 3 hundredths of each other. Very close in speed. That last time by, the quickest actually in the top 10 was actually Brandon Burkuski running a 32.24. Just to put that in perspective, that was a little over a tenth quicker that last time by than Henderson.
Yeah, I mean, I got no idea. I honestly really don't know what the strategy is here. As you see, Shane Neiswanger getting lapped. Oh, he's not getting lapped. He's fighting back. He wants his lap back. Or is he just going to get... is Shane on new tires? I have not been paying attention too much to Shane, to be honest with you. I don't think he is, but Shane trying to stay on the lead lap here. Trying to, if a caution comes out, he wants to be the lucky dog. Or in a perfect world, he wants to be on the lead lap and not have to worry about the lucky dog or the wave rounds or anything like that, but... Unfortunately, I just don't think it'll be today. As you see here, I feel like Daniel Nanny has dropped back a little bit behind these guys. I'm not too sure what's up. He is running faster, like a faster lap time than Jake Miller, but Elliot Henderson is faster than him. So even looking at it here, it seems Ashton Lawson's running about a tenth quicker than him. Maybe just got caught in some traffic. And as I say that, he seems to have caught the draft of Jake Miller again, as he seems to be closing back in on him.
One thing that Nanny could possibly be struggling with a little bit is handling, because we haven't seen him in that dirty air all race long. He's been up in the front, usually not even running up against the wall like Henderson and Miller are right now. He usually puts a little more space between himself and the wall than those two, so that could possibly be what's happening to the number 30 machine. He's gotten up to there and he's just not quite used to the handling on that race truck in dirty air and racing with other drivers. He's been leading underneath the green flag conditions. He's been leading almost every lap. He's almost led every lap of this race in that number 30 machine. And just to give you an update on Neiswanger there, and maybe why he's pushing so hard in the number 49 machine, he came in one lap before Eric Kepf. We were already kind of doubting that Kepf might be able to make it on fuel, but what if Shane is trying to possibly make it the rest of the way on fuel in that number 49 machine?
I could possibly see that. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea, like I said. So we're really just going to turn into a game of, will he have enough to make it back? I don't know. I haven't been watching him. I just taken a look at his lap times here. Now he's in the draft of Nanny, so that's a really smart move by him. He seems to be taking it, about the same pace as the leaders, actually. So I'm not too sure, but like I said, he wanted to let those guys by, get the draft of them. I don't know. I'm really curious to see what Shane Neiswanger's strategy is here to, maybe limit some of the damage created by tonight.
Shane Neiswanger came in 6 laps after the race leaders here, so he definitely has fresher tires in the number 49, but he also does have that right side damage that has been affecting him all race long. So that could potentially be playing into this and why he fell back behind the race leaders here in the number 49 machine. We'll see how the remainder of the race goes for Neiswanger, but you hate to see it. A playoff driver just been struggling throughout most of the day because of that damage. As you see, it looks like Christopher Heller has came down pit road for potentially his final pit stop of the day in the number 11 machine. He's going to now pull out of pit road, currently 1 lap down.
Looking at that, that's a good time to pit. He's going to be, he can make it to the end and he can make it to the green, white, checkered. Don't forget about that. People sometimes forget. I mean, we have had a very clean race here, but, anything can happen. And, if it were to come down to a green, white, checkered finish here, some guys wouldn't be able to make it if they had pitted, say on lap 100. But because Chris is stretched to 105, he can make it on a green, white, checkered. And I honestly think that Chris Heller might have just outsmarted the field, and it wouldn't surprise me if, some of the other guys start to come down pit road as well.
it could be a possibility, but from what I saw in that last pit stop, Heller did come in first and was able to get up there and get that track position, but it just immediately fell back because of just having such worn out tires. So I think it really depends on when these drivers come down pit road and if we get a caution flag, because that could be really huge. For example, Heller was the first one to come down pit road. If Miller and Henderson and these drivers wait another 5 or 6 laps to come down pit road, Heller will be in the race lead at that point. And if we were to get a quick caution, everyone I think has one more set of tires to put on their truck at that point. And that would be huge for a driver like Christopher Heller, because then everybody's going to come down pit road, get 4 fresh Goodyears, and he'll have the track position.
As everyone's coming down pit road right now.
And Nanny's going to almost get in the back of Miller. I don't know if he might have been speeding in the number 30 machine right there. It looked very close for him. I have to take another look at that myself, but very close for the number 30 coming down pit road. Maybe he just gotten underneath the speed limit.
Oh, he was at 45 the second he touched the line. Looking at it from my point of view, he was down to, when he touched the line with his front bumper, he was doing about 40. Oh, he was doing about 50 when he hit the line. I guess we're gonna have to see what race control calls that there, as he's still on pit road.
It's gonna be a very close call for him. Here comes Barbagelata off pit road in the number 27. He had a pretty quick pit stop in the number 27. A very good entry to pit road as well. Henderson gonna get out way in front of these drivers. A very strong pit stop from the number 37 machine. He's been having strong pit stops all night long. That's how he got up into the lead in the first place. He was able to take the lead from Daniel Nanny by having a better pit stop. And just to put it out there, that last coming down pit road, Henderson was almost a full second quicker than Daniel Nanny on pit road, and a little more than a full second quicker than Jake Miller. But now these drivers are going to be stuck in traffic. This could be really crazy here for the next couple of laps, Gavin.
I mean, absolutely, you got lap traffic to deal with here. That's not lap traffic. Just cars that, haven't pitted yet. And obviously, most of them, they're not going to bow out and go away. See Ashton Lawson exiting pit road 2. Don't forget about William Barbagelata with a fantastic pit stop. With that pit stop, he will pass Ashton Lawson and put a considerable gap on him. And he will have the draft of Jake Miller and that front pack here, which is extremely beneficial for him, because that front pack, I don't think, or I'm not too sure if someone could check if Brandon Barkowski's pitted or not, could be beneficial. As Zach Henry and Chris Heller are battling for effectively the race lead once, as Eric Kepf has received a speeding penalty.
There you see the 63, they're going to pass him on the high side. Heller and Henry here are on the older tires, a little older than Henderson and Daniel Nanny. Here comes Henderson to the inside of Christopher Heller. He should be able to clear him going into turns 1 and 2, and he will. Henry now leads the drivers that have already made that final pit stop. Here comes the number 30 of Daniel Nanny underneath the number 11, almost contact between him and the number 11 of Christopher Heller. Brandon Barkowski right behind these drivers, and they're gonna be very tight going into 3 and 4 between the number 30, the number 11, and it looked like Robin Durr on the inside.
Brandon Barkowski is closed in here. He will pass Chris Heller, and now he will set his sights on Daniel Nanny here as well, as that is a phenomenal move by Brandon Barkowski to keep his cool there, as Jake Miller has also found his way around Chris Heller. And it's William Barbagelata looking to also find his way around Chris Heller, as Heller seems to be really struggling here on those little bit older tires.
Heller seems to be struggling on those older tires. On the previous run, the same thing pretty much happened to Heller. Was able to get up there and get that track position at the beginning portion of the run, but just really fell off hard that last time. And the same thing seems to be happening this time, but his teammate Zachary Henry still holding tough up in the front. The number 12 machine still out in front of this group of drivers, and we could be set up for a phenomenal finish here at Kansas Speedway. So many drivers here can still win the race. There you see the 37 of Henderson making the move to the inside of Zachary Henry. Henry's going to get the run off the corner, though, so he should be able to hold on to the lead still. He'll cut down in front of the 37 of Henderson coming across the line. Matthew Durr is still the only driver that is yet to make his final pit stop. He's a little over 13 seconds in front of these drivers here on around 32 lap old tires and fuel. Most likely will not make it to the finish, the number 2 of Matthew Durr.
Gaz, I don't think he will, but
Sounds like Matt Durr is actually coming down pit road this time by the driver of the number 2 machine, and he has come down pit road, and that will hand the lead off to Zachary Henry. And here comes Elliot Henderson to the inside. Daniel Nanny looking up on the high side, could possibly even make this 3 wide on the back straightaway. He's going to have a huge run off the corner. Henry holding tough off the tie.
As you know, Zach Henry, we're at that point where it's going to be a little trickier to pass. Elliott does have new tires, but Zach's pinching him low. Zach Henry is playing this perfectly. He's saving his own tires while making Elliott burn his. As Daniel Nanny behind them is closing in.
Daniel Nanny is loving this. He's going to be right there at their bumper this time, coming out of turns 1 and 2. Does Nanny possibly make a move on the back straightaway? Because if he wants to get past these two, he's going to have to do it quick. Jake Miller is not too far behind him. William Barberslot and Brandon Burkuski as well.
Daniel Nanny is definitely rocking that third lane right there. Looking at the seams, you can see the first, second, and third lane. As Elliott seemed to get a much better push here, as Nanny's going to push Zach Henry. He wants to push Zach Henry by Elliott. As Daniel Nanny wants Elliott to burn off his tires. As wow, what a phenomenal push there by Daniel Nanny to effectively push Zach Henry back into the lead.
Very smart move from the number 30 machine, I think, in that case, to maybe hurt Henderson's tires a little bit here. I think they're both a little quicker than Henry, but just cannot get past them. 30 cars going to have a huge run on the off the corner. They're going to be 3 wide, coming across the start-finish line for the race lead. Can Daniel Nanny leapfrog past both of them on the very high side? Henderson might have to try to pull a slide job on both of them in 1 and 2 to complete this pass. He's going to complete the pass on Henry, but now he has Nanny on his outside. Nanny, oh, there they go! There they go! Oh!
And they both slide down into the apron.
And there goes Henderson.
Yellow is out.
And Henderson just looked like he maybe fought a little too hard, got up into the door of Nanny, and they both went spinning in the 37 and the number 30. You hate to see it for Bobby Carter. Was possibly heading towards another championship, and now that championship might be in question.
Wow. That was honestly, I don't even know what to make of that. That was fun to watch. As you see here, we're gonna rewind it a bit here, you know, to the exit there of I think this is 3 and 4 right here. Or sorry, the exit of 1 and 2, and you just see, oh, I think that they were both, I think, just going for the same, you know, the same gap there, and yeah, they were both just shooting for the same spot. I will say that it looked like Nanny did kind of drive him into the wall a little bit, but getting a different angle here.
I'm taking a look at it myself over here. It just looks like to me that, yeah, it looked like Nanny just came way off the wall, off the exit right there in the number 30 machine. And then Henderson, I think, was expecting Nanny to be closer to the wall and came up the racetrack and got him right into the door in the number 37 machine. Just you hate to see it this late in the race. 2 drivers fighting very hard. Daniel Nanny's had the dominant truck all race long. Elliot Henderson out here fighting for a championship. And they both wreck off the corner, battling for the race lead. That brings out caution number 3 of the day. And wow. Jake Miller gets off pit road first. This is huge. I'm watching pit road, and they make these final pit stops, and Jake Miller able to beat Zachary Henry off pit road. Jake the Snake Miller might be able to pick up the pieces and end up in victory lane here today as his pit crew gets him off first. Looked like to be the fastest time of the day from when it looks like drivers on pit lane. He was only on pit lane for 40.1 seconds. I've been taking a look at those times all race long, and that was the quickest time of the day. And what a time to do it for Jake the Snake as he slithers off pit road in first. Zachary Henry in second. William Barberslot in third.
Not to spoil on your party there, Kyle, but Jake was like the not the leader, but the he had passed Zach Henry when that yellow came out.
Oh, he passed him right before the yellow. Ah, that would have made it more impressive. Still the fastest pit stop of the day, either way, though.
Oh yeah, unbelievably fast stop from that 4 crew. I don't know. Yeah, as I'm trying to look at it, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he wasn't past him. No, I lied. He did have him past. Oh, maybe.
And
I
very
honestly,
close when that caution came out. They were neck and neck when
the
that caution
caution,
flag came out.
the caution came out pretty late, so it's really, I can't tell when the caution came out. But wow, I can't get over that those two wrecked.
Yeah, looking back on it, it looked like Jake Miller was the leader at moment of caution. He did pull down pit road first, but still the fastest pit stop of the day on the final pit stop of the day for the number 4 crew. So very good job from the number 4 crew. I bet they're all going to be getting raises after that one. Jake Miller leads the field here on the potential final restart of the day. Zachary Henry in second, William Barbagelata in third, Brandon Barkuski in fourth, and Ashton Lawson in fifth. This should be a great restart. Some aggressive drivers up here and some playoff drivers up here trying to compete for a win and possibly get some points to put himself into the next round, the championship round.
Because we're going to have almost a 10-lap shootout here, roughly.
And lights are out on the pace car. You're going to see some of those drivers go flying past the pace car to get that wave around. A lot of these drivers stayed out to get that wave around, including Shane Neiswanger trying to get back on the lead lap. That'll move him up to the 17th position on the lead lap. So a driver like the number 49 is probably hoping for some late race chaos here, Gavin.
Oh, you know, absolutely. I mean, I think everyone wants a little bit of chaos. I mean, why not? I mean, if I'm Chris Heller, I'm going, thank God, because everyone's on even tires now. So, you know, and Zach Henry looks like a genius.
And that's what I was saying. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that's what I was saying about Heller. If the caution came out properly for Heller, he would have looked like a genius in the perfect time.
Yeah, I mean, you know, for guys like, you know, Zach Henry, Chris Heller, perfect time for a caution here. And, you know, I must say about Zach Henry, I don't think we give him enough credit here. He's had such a good sleeper of a season. He hasn't won a race, but he's been unbelievably consistent the whole season. It'd be really good to see him go out here and get his first win of the season.
Zachary Henry's had a very strong, consistent season, but you mentioned is yet to get to victory lane as the green flag is out, possibly for the last time here today. Great start from Miller. Oh, contact. It looked like between Barbagelata and Henry going into turns 1 and 2. They're able to keep it straight for now. William Barbagelata, a.k.a. Mr. Excitement, creating some excitement late, trying to get into that second spot. Not able to quite clear Henry off the corner. And Jake Miller is quickly checking out in the number 4 machine.
Yeah, they've reeled him back in here. And oh, Zach Henry looks to get a little swirly there in the middle 3 and 4. That means Barb's going to clear him. And Barb will now set his sights here on the number 4 truck.
I was talking about it before we started the race. William Barbagelata was the hottest driver at the end of the regular season. The last couple of weeks, ever since the playoffs started, the hottest driver has been the number 4 of Jake Miller. Can these two possibly go head-to-head here late for a victory here at Kansas Speedway and the Everyone Loves Walmart 201?
Absolutely. I totally think Barb's got a shot at him here. You know, I'm really curious. You know, you see Barb's teammate, Ashton Lawson, is trying to get by Zach Henry here, maybe go help his teammate out a little bit, but Zach Henry's having none of it. It's going to be an absolute dogfight here to the finish. You've got all 3 major teams represented up here. You got E95 with Jake, Spectrum with Barb, 2511 with Zach Henry. As Zach Henry's looking to his outside, Barb gets a little loose off the corner. He's going to shut the door. No, he won't. He opens it back up. Zach Henry's looking to have a run on the inside as Brandon Barkuski looks to the inside of Ashton Lawson. Barb's going to clear him off the corner, and Jake Miller is loving this in his mirror right now.
And Jake Miller is on a Sunday drive right now in the race, lead the driver of the number 4 machine, as Barb continues to try to shut the door on the number 12 of Henry, but Henry will not go away on that high side. He continues to fight up on the top lane, which here in a couple of laps before the end of this race, that high lane will most likely be the quickest lane. And look who's approached the battle. Nathan Nicholson in the number 40. He hasn't been up here since he hit the wall earlier. Now he's up here in the top 6.
Yeah, Zach Henry's got that outside line trying to fight Barb here, but Zach's got to make work of him quickly, and he's got to go hunt down Jake Miller. But I also think that Jake has a tire advantage. He's been in that clean area. He hasn't had to worry about fighting guys behind him. As Ashton Lawson looking to make the move, as him and Barb are going to touch here coming out of the corner. But that's going to be a good push for Barb. He's going to get back into the draft of Zach Henry, as we see Nathan Nicholson making a move on Brandon on the inside here.
Nicholson continues to impress, making a little bit of a comeback, almost gets into the door of Barkuski coming off the corner. Very close racing there for the 5th position. Henry's beginning to catch up to Miller here up at the front as well. Henry has a little bit of that draft. Can he get up there to the number 4 and challenge for the race win here late?
Oh, he hit the apron. He's going to slide up the track. That's not good. Barb's going to make ground on him here. He didn't seem to lose that much time to Jake, but Barb will be making time back up on him here. You know, I got to wonder, does Barb, you know, maybe try and help Zach Henry, maybe push him to Jake, hope that they get in a bit of a battle and he can sweep in like exactly like what Daniel Nanny did with, you know, Zach Henry and Elliot Henderson, where he took him 3 wide?
We'll have to see what happens here, but anything is on the table here late. The aggression levels are high. Drivers trying to get as many points as they can before we head into Dover next week. Number 4 of Miller leads the field. Zachary Henry is in second, not too far behind. William Barbagelata and Lawson are in 3rd and 4th, and Brandon Barkuski rounds out your top 5. Henry's really trying to make that high lane work. This is when it's going to come in, is around this time. Can Henry make it work and get up to Jake Miller here in the closing laps?
I mean, I just saw it, you know, Henry ran the top there. He ran a 31.7. Jake ran a 31.6. I don't know if that top line's in yet, as Barbagelata seems to be making time on him, but Zach Henry does seem to be making time on Jake.
It's very hard racing here late. Miller continues to pull away just a little bit at a time from that number 12 as the battle's now on for 3rd. Right behind Henry, Barbagelata and Ashton Lawson are going to go back and forth in that 3rd position. Henry did not get off that corner too strong. He's going to have Barbagelata all over his bumper. Coming past the start-finish line, he's now going to jump to the inside. 3 laps remaining at Kansas.
There's contact. Barb doored him going into 1 and 2. I wonder if Zach's going to try and get him back here in 3 and 4. He's going to have a massive run here. Jake's checked out. Jake is gone. I don't think, if they keep this up, I don't think that Jake will have any competition. As here comes Zach Henry down to the inside of Barbagelata. Ashton Lawson sitting back there waiting for something to happen.
Henry with some pretty decent left side damage. 2 laps remaining. Do they make it to the white flag?
Here comes Ashton Lawson down to the inside of Zach Henry. Will they make it off the corner? Ashton's going to tag the apron. He looks like he's going to get loose. Oh, and he barely misses Zach Henry's quarter panel. As I think that's going to be it. I don't really think we'll see anything that has a, you know, reason for a caution. Is Brandon Barkuski looking to the inside of Ashton Lawson here. Ashton Lawson with some left side damage as Chris Heller is also closing in. I don't think we're going to have a caution. We will make it to the white flag. As you have Nathan Nicholson approaching Kevin Watler, trying to turn that 8th position into a 7th position. Brandon Barkuski, Ashton Lawson battling hard.
Battles are around.
Oh, Ashton's in the wall. Everyone will go by. Big point loss for Ashton Lawson right there. You don't want to see that. Ashton Lawson with some major damage. Everyone's going to get past him here.
And here comes Jake Miller into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Jake Miller has had a great race all day, and he might have stole it late after contact between Henderson and Nanny. But Jake Miller wins again here in the Great Lakes Truck Series at Kansas.
Jake Miller punches his ticket to the Final 4. Oh, as Ashton Lawson junks Brandon Barkuski coming across the line.
Oh, man. Someone's going to the infield care center. That's the driver, the number 25. The number 24 of Lawson, not happy with the late race move from Brandon Barkuski, which cost Lawson a lot of positions there late. We'll have to take another look at that incident between those 2 drivers. But the number 4 of Jake the Snake Miller is going to slither into victory lane. What a good job from him. Jake Miller able to steal one here today. Had a top 5 car all race long. But after late race contact between race leaders Elliot Henderson and Daniel Nanny, who dominated most of the day, Jake Miller was able to drive past both of them and Zachary Henry and have a great last pit stop to win the race. Jake Miller, your winner of the Everyone Loves Walmart 201. Great job from Miller. We're going to take a look at that last lap incident here between Brandon Barkuski and Ashton Lawson. See where this happened. Very hard contact on the final lap between these 2 drivers coming out of the tri-oval. We're going to see it here momentarily. Here we are going to see it here. It looks like Brandon Barkuski thinks he's clear of Lawson. He continues to try to move up the track to block him. He's just not quite clear, and it looks like he just gets Lawson into the wall. And then you guys saw it at the end of the final lap, Lawson retaliating to the number 25 of Brandon Burkuski. Hate to see it for Lawson, who had a lot of speed and is trying to compete for back-to-back championships. Very hard contact with Brandon Burkuski as Jake Miller wins at Kansas.
Burnout.
Yeah, what a burnout here. He's going a long time.
Wow, he's going the whole track.
Good thing these aren't the next-gen cars, so that car will get stuck right there.
Yep, and it's stuck, and it's done. Park it, put it on the truck, destroy the whole front end of it.
Put it on the truck. But great job from Miller.
Look at that burnout smoke. Holy.
Yeah, you can still see all that smoke up there. It looks like someone lit something on fire with all that smoke from up the front straightaway. But great job from Jake Miller, able to snag the victory. We'll go through the finishing results here real quick before we go into the interviews. Jake Miller comes home with the victory, of course. William Barbagellata coming home in second. Henry in third. Those will be your interview drivers for the evening. I would like to give a special shout out to Wattler. What a job from Wattler, Gavin. Kevin Wattler able to come in with a top 5 here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a wonderful result for him. You know, I saw him racing officials. We were in an official race together. He's been putting in the work this week. Glad to see it paid off for him.
You got to be happy for Kevin Wattler, the driver of the number 56 machine. A great performance from him. I think we're going to try to get you some of these interviews right here with Miller and Barbagellata and Henry here. See who we're going to bring in first. I think we're going to try to get you the number 12 of Zachary Henry in here first. Driver of the number 12 machine. Let's see if I can move him up here real quick. Zach Henry, Kyle and Gavin up in the booth. You got me?
Yes, I do.
Zach, that was some crazy last 20 laps. First, I got to congratulate you on your top 3. But what was maybe going through your mind coming off turns 1 and 2, and you to see Nanny and Henderson get together in front of you?
I was just hoping they'd wreck towards the bottom, which I kind of got into the back of, I think, Nanny there and got a little front end damage. But I mean, I don't know. If I wouldn't have hit Nanny, then I guess it would have gone green. I would have hoped that it had gone green because I think I would have kept that momentum going and probably could have hopefully could have held off Jake there. But I wasn't too disappointed in the caution coming out there and getting to restart next to Jake and make a run at the win.
Yeah, you had a good last run to the race. You were running in the top 5, top 10 most of the day, but maybe a good time caution there at the end helped you out. What was maybe your strategy going into this race, Kansas? What was maybe your strategy? Were you more focused on the tires, or you're more focused on really trying to get that track position here?
Really focused on the track position. I was actually a little surprised at how drastic the difference was just between like 1 and 2 laps for people on fresh tires. So that was something that we kind of learned as the race went on. But initially, our goal was to qualify up front. All 5 of us over at 2511. We wanted to qualify as close to the front as we could because it's hard to pass here. And I was able to qualify second, which is nearly the goal that I set. And running top 5 all races, I can't complain too much about that. I noticed my long run pace was a little bit off. Not too terribly much, but I definitely wasn't running with Nanny and Elliott and Jake there on those long runs. But the cautions that last caution kind of played into my favor to have a short run to the end, especially with the damage that I got from that Nanny and Henderson incident.
Well, the next 2 weeks are going to be some interesting ones for you, Zach. We've got 2 more races here in the round of 8. And we go to 2 very interesting racetracks. We go to the Monster Mile next week. We got Dover. And week after that, well, actually, we have a bye week after that. But the week after that, we have the final race, the round of 8 of Martinsville. How do you really feel about those 2 racetracks, Dover and Martinsville?
Dover, it's been a while since I've ran there, but that is a fun track. I love it. My favorite track on the service is Bristol, and I think Dover presents a lot of a similar challenge as Bristol. It's I mean, there's a very specific line that's just fast, and it's I mean, it's a loose racetrack. I haven't driven it in a truck in a while, but in the Cup car, the Xfinity car, it gets really loose coming off of 4 especially, and that alone is a challenge. The wall really sneaks up on you, and those are my favorite kind of tracks. The ones that require a little bit of driving, I guess. And then Martinsville, I'm just hoping that I've got enough of a buffer to where I don't have to worry about that race. That one's too much of a it's I feel like Martinsville is just too dependent on the people around you, not necessarily what you can do there individually. You just kind of got to hope you don't get ran over at any point in the race to finish well. So yeah, hopefully I can go into Dover next week, get a win, or at least build upon this race today, and not even really have to worry about Martinsville.
I kind of have very similar feelings about Dover. I kind of like the extra work; it really kind of weeds out some of the drivers. But anybody you have to thank for your performance out there tonight, Zach?
2511 guys. Brandon and I, we did a practice session last night and was really working on qualifying stuff. So it's good to see that pay off, putting it on the front row and then being consistent lap after lap. I know I didn't have that long run pace, but I'm willing to bet that I was better today than I would have been without that practice with Brandon there. And then Matt, Jordan, and Chris, I mean, they're always awesome. We're always talking strategy during the races and stuff. And when we can all get together and practice, it's always really productive. And yeah. And then let's see, my wife, just for being awesome as she always is. You guys for doing a great job on the broadcast each week. And Undercurrents for riding on the hood of the car. They got some cool stuff coming up. They're going to be performing at the Rangers ballpark at a concert here relatively soon. So they're doing some pretty cool things, and I think that's about it.
Well, I appreciate you speaking with us, Zach, and we hope to speak to you next week after Dover.
I sure hope so.
That was Zachary Henry, driver of the number 12 machine for 2511 Racing, coming home in the third position. And I think now we're going to try to bring in our second place finisher, Mr. Excitement, William Barbagelata. Kyle and Gavin up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Some good racing out there. You were pretty quiet most of the day, and there at the very end, you came on very strong. Well, I would like to congratulate you, first of all, on your second place finish, but I'm going to ask the same question I asked Henry. What was maybe going through your mind when you saw the two leaders getting into it off the corner with a few laps remaining?
You're referring to Elliot and Daniel, right?
Yes.
Well, I was hoping that didn't bring out a yellow. I was hoping they kind of wrecked down to the inside, and it didn't bring out a yellow, but it did, which sucked. But I felt like I was going to be in a perfect spot. I mean, I was right behind Jake, and I knew Zach Henry had a lot older tires. He got put 3 wide right there, so I was really excited for that. I thought we were in a perfect spot, and that caution. I mean, it's tough on these late restarts where everyone's going 100%. You don't have to worry about tire wear. I mean, you can hold it full throttle, and so it's kind of scary, and anything could happen. So I was glad I was able to survive those last 10 or 15 laps and come away with second.
Yeah, definitely a good performance from you, Barb. What was maybe going through your mind throughout most of the day? Because most of this day was based on really green flag pit stop strategy. What was maybe your strategy or your idea of the race going into it?
Yeah, well, I had a pretty disappointing qualifying. I ended up 18th because I got the apron in 1 and 2 on my lap. So that was not good to be in the hornet's nest to start the race as a playoff guy. So I was really glad I was able to get out of that pretty quickly. I got myself in a comfortable spot at around 8th or 9th, and I was riding for a while. And I mean, you were really able to jump people if you pitted just even a lap earlier. And so once we all kind of got bunched up, and I tried to come early rather than late, just to jump a couple guys, and it was so tough to pass that you get a longer run and you're on the outside. It's so difficult to try to go to the bottom and clear someone because they'll get the run off. So it was going really well. I think I ended up getting up to 6th or 5th before the first real caution after a long run. And I don't know, every run went pretty perfect for me throughout the night. Was able to move up a couple spots each time, and that had me near the front at the end.
Out at the front at the end is what I was really about to bring up. That was a phenomenal final restart, I want to say, from you came out guns blazing. What was maybe going through your mind coming out of 4? You moved into second place there on the first lap of the restart. What was maybe going through your mind when you see Miller just a couple of car lengths in front of you? Were you just hoping that everybody would just stay calm behind you so you can get up there?
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what I was hoping, but I knew it probably wasn't gonna happen. I really wanted Zach to work with me, and you could kind of, I mean, at least on the straightaways, get a pretty good draft, and maybe we could slowly work our way up to him. But we didn't really work together, and he kind of kept going to my outside, and so at some point I had to let him go just to see if maybe he could get up there, and I don't know if they could get together or what, or we could have a 3-car battle. And then I don't know what happened, and I got right back to him and went around him. So. But by then, Jake was so far out in front, I didn't have a chance. So that kind of sucked because I really thought I could maybe do something with him, but didn't have the opportunity.
And Jake Miller was able to check out on the field there late, but you had a strong car all day, William, and you came home second. Anybody you have to thank for that performance with second place?
Yeah, I mean, one thing my teammates, me and Ashton, worked pretty well. You guys for putting the broadcast on, all the admins for putting on this race and the league together, and definitely Elliot and Daniel for getting together there, giving me 2 extra spots towards the end.
That was insane there at the very end, man. And I appreciate you talking with us, bro. And I hope to talk to you next weekend after the Monster Mile.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course. Now I think we're going to bring in our race winner, Jake Miller, driver of the number 4 machine. Jake Miller, Kyle and Gavin up in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
What a race, Jake. You're running up there in the top 3, top 5, all race long. I asked the other 2 guys the same question. I'm asking you the same question. What was maybe going through your mind off of that final corner? I'm not that final corner, off that corner when you saw Nanny and Henderson get together?
Well, obviously, I'm on the same team as Elliot, so I knew a bump or I knew something was coming because that's how they'd been racing all night. So I saw it, and I didn't lift because I saw them go down the track. I saw Zach lift, or he hit him a little bit, and I knew that was my opportunity to get the lead. So I kind of sent it into turn 3, and I just hoped for the best. And then the caution came out, and then I was really happy.
Yeah, that was some intense racing right there. A great move. You were able to barely get past Henry there, coming out of turns 1 and 2. And on that last restart, what was maybe going through your mind when you just saw everybody ganged up behind you? You just saw a whole pack of cars that we were talking about on the broadcast. That was pretty ideal for you, I bet, on that final restart, just seeing everybody battle it out behind you.
Yeah, so I asked Barb, I actually messaged him. I go, yo, you working with 2511? He goes, no, they've been racing me hard all race. I go, okay. And I knew he owed me a favor since I never dumped him at Milwaukee and I let him win. So I figured, okay, I'll start on the inside and I'll get a good jump and hopefully Barb comes with. And on that whole final run, I wouldn't go high because I didn't want to give Zach Henry any draft. So I would keep going low to give Barb the draft. And they stuck 2 by 2 for 5 laps and then helped me pull away. And then at like lap 127 I was kind of just like, yeah, no, I got this one in the bag.
Little insider information for us here on the broadcast. Yeah, definitely seemed like some sort of possible strategy to get away from the 2511 guys could have been going on this last few laps, and good to maybe have that conversation that confirmed right there. And looking forward to next week at Dover and Martinsville. Jake, you're already locked into the championship. How are you going to really approach those races?
I'm pretty fast at Dover, and so is Elliot. So I think I'm going to do everything in my power to try and help Elliot win, or at least finish above me, or if he doesn't win, finish second. And Martinsville, I show up every year, and I'm very slow at short tracks. Bristol and Martinsville are my worst tracks on the sim. So I just kind of go there and expect to get wrecked by lap 12. So.
Since the championship's at Atlanta and we have our first championship contender here, how do you really feel about Atlanta? Are you really just going to be I would be personally working really hard in Atlanta the next couple of weeks. Is that going to be your main focus for the next couple of weeks? Is Atlanta?
Yeah, and of course, everyone knows I finished second in points like 2 or 3 times, and I've won Atlanta once, but I still wasn't good enough to beat Elliott because of the old point system. Um, There's two versions of Atlanta. When it's really hot out, it seems to be really tight, and then when it's cold out on the track, it seems to be really loose. And I don't like loose race cars, so I do way better in tight conditions. So until I get to the session on that night, I won't know what kind of track I get, but I'm gonna definitely be practicing that, and I'm not gonna worry about Dover and Martinsville.
Definitely a good strategy from Jake Miller as he snags another victory here tonight. Anybody you have to thank, Jake, before we let you go?
Yeah, same person as always, my teammates and Uncle Ron, because I know he was at his village hall meeting, and he turns on his laptop and mutes it, and he pays no attention to the meeting and would instead watch us race.
We always appreciate the Uncle Ron shout outs here on the Flatout Racing Network. Well, you have a good night, Jake, and we hope to speak to you next week after Dover and maybe even after Atlanta with the championship trophy.
Yep, sounds good. See you guys.
You have a good night, man. That was Jake Miller, driver of the number 4 machine for E95 Esports, as he was able to snag another victory here tonight at Kansas Speedway. A great performance from him. And we're heading into Dover next week, Gavin. I'm assuming you're going to be out there on the racetrack, and I'm thinking I'm going to be out there on the racetrack too, making my start of the season. Looking forward to next week.
Salute. Oh, is my mic on? Hello? Oh, yes, it is. Absolutely. I mean, I like short tracks. Dover is a shorter track. Depending on what you classify as a short track. I like Dover. I like those high bank tracks. I think we're in for a good race. I mean, it'll be an interesting race because I don't remember the last time we went there, but I'll be really interested to see how it turns out. And it'll be fun watching these 8 guys duke it out.
It should be a lot of fun next week at Dover, and in 3 weeks at Martinsville. We'll be finishing up the round of 8. I would like to thank all of you for tuning in to this race, to this broadcast of the Flatout Racing Network of the Great Lakes Truck Series presented by Patti Engineering. And we will see you next week, same place, same time here on the Flatout Racing Network for Dover Motor Speedway, also known as the Monster Mile, as we go racing there for 200 laps. And once again, congratulations to Jake Miller. And once again, thank all of you for tuning in to Flatout Racing Network, and have a wonderful night.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of Flatout Racing Network and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of Flatout Racing Network and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations. Flatout Racing Network would like to thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.